Wow. So some of us would have thought that Nigerians don't usually use the services of consultants. You're talking about ADHD, dyslexia, and some other things. So what can you tell us about that? Is this something that is really, I mean, because sometimes we are not even able to give names to these in our own country, but now the world is very global and people are getting to know more about this phenomenon. Can you tell us more about this? I don't know whether they are disorders or whatever in our society, ADHD and all the rest.
Now, we call them learning disabilities. There are different levels and different categories of learning disability. But in order not to be too technical, I'm just going to describe two of them. Yeah. One is ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity
disorder.
Now, what happens is, in those cases, a child cannot sit still. The child has to be busy. The mind, the body has to be busy. And in order for the child to comprehend,
Nigerians will say hyperactive.
What?
Nigerians will say hyperactive.
Hyperactive, yes. So in order for a child to really assimilate what is being passed across, and besides also, the system of education we adopt in Nigeria is we basically do rote teaching, where a teacher will just stand in front and just download on the children, and that's that. And they write notes, and though they don't understand the content of the notes they're writing, but children actually learn better from one another. Like you put them in groups and you give them assignments that they need to get busy in order to be able to complete it. And one of them will make a presentation. And the presentation the group leader makes is what determines the score of the whole group. That teaches them how to work together as groups and how to research, how to come up with facts, how to do presentations and all that. So talking about ADHD. Now, a lot of children are given sugar. If you see that your child is hyperactive, it's better for you to avoid giving the child too much sugar, because sugar gives the child extra energy to become more hyperactive.
Wow.
And also, children that are hyperactive, they need to be calmed down. It's the parents that can do that. You can sit the child down and ask the child questions that needs to explain calmly. So also, you will find out that some children do not get enough sleep. It's a good thing that children must have a routine. Children must have a routine. You see, some children will say, it's not school night, I can watch my phone, I can watch TV until it's 10, 11. Children must have a routine. They need to have enough sleep. So you find that a child sleeps at 11 p.m. has to wake up at 6 a.m. At the end of the day, the child is not growing enough, but because it's during the sleep that they experience growth. And as they get to school, they can't concentrate because they didn't have enough sleep. And you think the child has a learning disability. Well, what the child just has is a sleep deficiency.
Wonderful.
And also we talk about dyslexia. Holding a book to read or write, sometimes we call it dancing letters. The letters don't stay still in front of a dyslexic child. So there are ways to intervene in such situations where a child has learning disability like dyslexia and ADHD. There are ways to intervene, and this is where we come in. We diagnose. We learn to diagnose learning disability using some questionnaires and some checklists and some activity sheets, tailor-made for the child, depending on the age of the child. Then we develop a series of tests to determine what kind of learning disability the child has. Then we can develop intervention programs for the child. So there are different learning disabilities, but those are the two I'll mention for now. Thank you.
Wow. I'm also learning. It's a learning curve for me as well, though I'm a very present parent. And that leads me to the next question. We even talk about some of these disabilities, and I do not know if parents are able to catch them early. Let me use Nigeria, for example. Now that you are back to Nigeria, and you can also use your illustration of your consulting globally and your practice in South Africa. is it not the parent that is present that will even notice a deficiency or a disorder in the child? Most parents, if they are trading, they have gone out very early to get to their trading or marketplaces. If they are corporate, they've hit the road. Let me just use Lagos for an example. People in corporate, most of them, by 5 o'clock they are out. Some people will be saying, 5, are you kidding me? I'm already out of the house by 4:30 in order for them to get to their destination. And a lot of parents depend on nannies, they depend on family members, they depend on neighbors in order to get their children through getting to school bus and picking them. um what do you see to that parenting? Is there, I do not want to preempt you, but the thing that comes to my mind is the parenting gap. What do you see about that, and the ability of the possibility and the propensity, the tendency for the parent to even notice this at all? Because usually some dysfunctions that you see later in life were not observed, they were not identified early, and it now becomes a big burden when that person has really grown into full grown adult, and something that could have probably been treated if discovered earlier and fixed now grows, the person grows into adulthood. Is there a parenting gap, and how is our society also not helping to even identify this? You have mentioned the educational system already. Can you extend it to the home as a unit of society and the entire society itself and our values? Thank you.
All right. These disabilities can be picked up by the parents, yes. But most times it's the teachers that normally pick them up at school. Because parents are not trained to be able to identify learning disabilities. That is why in schools it is imperative and it's of utmost importance to have a learner support specialist or a learner support consultant. You find out that 99% of Nigerian schools do not have learner support specialists that can actually help a child that is having some of these disabilities within the environment of the school, because they don't believe in it. And I found out that most schools in Nigeria, they're just businesses that are out there to make money. Wow. This is something I've noticed. They don't care about the well-being of a child. All they just want is the school fees. I mean, the child can have whatever learning disability. In fact, so it got to a point where some schools will actually cook marks for the children so that the parents can be happy that their children are doing well. Their children are doing well. This happens a lot in Nigeria, where teachers actually, in fact, in some terminal exams, some schools are even complicit in examination malpractice, so that when the child passes, when the children pass, it will be good marketing for their schools. So I've noticed a lot of things with Nigerian schools whereby our government is not even concerned about the well-being of a child to the extent of enforcing and mandating there to be a learner support specialist. The only school that I found a learner support specialist in Nigeria so far is the American International School in Abuja. I never found it any other school that I consulted for. And these were some of the things I told them that they need, even if they can't retain one in the school because of the cost, they can actually refer the children to one that they know. So some of them actually refer the parents to me to deal with those children. But it's important because it's in school that these learning disabilities should be picked up. No, the parents normally might just pass it by, unless the parent is really educated and very, very observant and helps the child with schoolwork. Once the parent helps the child with schoolwork, the parent can be able to pick up one or two things concerning the child. And if the parent does not even know the name of what the child is suffering from, the parent will definitely know there's something wrong because my child is not picking up something the way he or she is supposed to pick them up. So the reason why there's so much behavioral problem in South Africa is simply because most of the people are single parents. It's the women that bring up children. The father in 80%, 70 to 80% of the homes, the fathers are basically absent.
Wow.
In 70 to 80% of the homes. And it's the women that actually bring up these children. And there's a place for a father in the home. There's a place for a father. So all those people thinking that I can raise a child on my own, even if you are separated or divorced from the father, allow the father to have contact with the child. There's a place For like I interact with my daughters and I give them free speech. They can talk to me about anything. They can talk to me about anything, you know. And as a result, I'm able to know when something is going on with them. But some children are even afraid to talk to their parents about anything. So it's important for both parents to be in a child's life. But in the unfortunate situation that one of the parents has passed away, there could be an uncle that can actually fill in for the position of a dad, or there could be an aunt that could actually fill in or adopt the child as a mother and be communicating with the child. Every child, there's a reason why there's a reason why it takes a mother and a father to produce a child. There are some animals that actually they are called asexual. They reproduce asexually, I think so. They don't need sexual intercourse. They just reproduce by themselves. They don't need genes from any other animal. But there's a reason why we as humans need both the father's genes and the mother's genes in order to make a child, and because both of us have to be involved in that. And there are situations where marriages don't last, where okay, well, I can't tolerate what the man is doing to me. The woman says, I can't tolerate what the man is doing to me. And the man says, I can't tolerate what the woman is doing to me. And as a result, they decide to separate or decide to divorce. Things happen in this life. But allow the father or the mother, allow them to have
Access.
a say in their children's lives. Okay. So that's it. That's that. I'm not sure if I